Welcome to Conversations with Reinforced Engineers podcast, India's first podcast for and by civil engineers. Join us on our journey to simplify and bring you experiences straight from the industry. This is your host Gokul G. Kumar along with co-hosts E.S. Krishnaram and Padmadeep Joshi. So let's jump right into it. Welcome to all new episode of Conversations with Reinforced Engineers podcast. Thank you so much for showing your love towards our previous podcast episodes, and we as a team are looking forward to bring you interesting content. So if you have any suggestion for future episode, please let us know at cwrepodcast@gmail.com, or you can also visit www.eskrishnaram.com. I am your host Gokul G. Kumar, and our topic for discussion today is precast construction. So we have a special guest for you today. He's an experienced person from the industry. I would like to welcome Ashish Prabhakaran, sir.
Hi Gokul, glad that I'm part of this conversation. I've been hearing you guys from couple of weeks your podcast, and finally I'm here. And thank you for inviting me. I hope I could share some of my thoughts, some of my experience with you and a lot of your listeners.
Thank you so much, sir. So, audience, for you guys, I'll give you a brief introduction about our special guest for today. So, Ashish sir has a long experience of around 8 years in the industry. He is 2013 pass out from National Institute of Construction Management and Research. He did his specialization in advanced construction management. He got placed in L&T from the college. There he worked in premium residential projects. He got promoted to the role of senior planning engineer within 1 year of his joining, and he has also headed the planning department of India's first fully precast residential project for some time. So he worked in L&T for around 2 years. Then he joined JLL as an assistant project manager in Bangalore and worked there for 4 years. After that, he joined Katera as a business development and sales manager. He was heading business development and sales for workplace projects pan India. Now he is working as a senior manager project management in Savills India Limited. So from his brief introduction, you people are aware now that he is a person with a lot of potential and he has a great knowledge in precast industry. So apart from that, he is a very determined and focused person. He, along with his friend Mr. Vinayaraj Sugadan, came out with an interesting plan to help out their juniors with resume building and leveraging LinkedIn. Even I was a part of that. They conducted workshop which helped hundreds of juniors and the people who are yet to join to the companies to build their resume and to know the importance of LinkedIn. So without wasting much time, we will start our conversation.
Thank you, Gokul, for that quick introduction. Let's get on to the questions or the conversations, I would say. Yeah.
So precast is always said to be the future of world construction. So there are several advantages of precast elements over the conventional construction. So what do you think about the global market of precast construction and how it is emerging?
Google precast is something, I don't know why people think it's something new. I would say precast is one of the oldest technologies. Okay, when you see the old architectural monuments or any old structures, the temples, what you see, precast exists from that time. If you remember the old temples which you must have visited during
Yes,
your
yes.
college days or school days, it's all single columns or beams. It was all the joints, so it was made out of rocks. These days we
Yes.
don't have so much of rocks, we are doing out of concrete. That's the only difference. Those days the guys had the skill set to develop connection joints. See, a lot of structures, old structures are still existing. Before it was stone, now we are getting into the concrete. That's the only difference. And how we design it, I would say now we are going into the cost and other thing. We are focusing more. Those days, kings had a lot of money, so they never bothered about the cost. All that they wanted is a great monument, and that's how things went on. So I would say in global scenario, precast is something which is emerging because globalization is increasing. A lot of structures we are looking for. Population is increasing. We all need good structures, more offices, more residential houses, and all this will not happen without a technology which is faster, right? And if we think conventionally we can cater everything, it's not going to happen. It will take a long time, and our population growth, office requirement is much more higher. Forget about office and residential itself, even the transportation, the roads, infrastructure development, metros, railways, this all bridges, this all has to grow faster. So we all need a technology which is much more advanced, which is much more quality conscious. People can get a good quality. There should be less quality issues. More repetition should be there, because same thing we are generating again and again, right? So as I mentioned, the only difference is concrete, but somehow the Indian mindset are not ready to accept it. Okay, because whenever something new is coming to a country or a region, it has a cost. Okay, and when cost comes, people are conscious. Otherwise, I would say a lot of people know the pros and cons of this technology, but somehow India is still not in the race. If you talk about Singapore and other Asian countries, almost most of their structure these days are precast. They've adopted this technology long ago. They are well versed with this, and a lot of the engineers who are working in India, either they are from Asian, other Asian countries, or Middle East, because their precast was adopted much ahead of us. Somehow we are lagging in that
Yes.
front, but a lot of major players have come up in India. They are trying out precast.
True, sir. This technology is coming. It's coming forward, especially in India in this COVID situation. The people have understood its importance. Now, a lot of hospitals around the world, they're building hospitals with precast. Even in China, they made it within 10 days. Even in India, we are witnessing that the same thing. So, what are the main products in India in precast? Because we know that there are a lot of products, especially in compound walls, drains, bridge fires, then bridge decks, etc. So, which is the main product in India which is in demand, sir?
So the calling precast technology just as a product, I won't say it's right, because precast is a technology and it has a lot of offerings. What you're talking about is a small segment of it. We all must have seen the boundary walls, okay, where you can just have the columns with some sections, C sections, and you can erect the boundary wall. This is something which is very common, and we have seen this from a decade, more than a decade or more. Drains is another one thing. Slab covers, then so these curbstones. These are some of the I would say just the 5% or maybe less than that. Precast has a lot more things. When we do a residential building, so out of your experience or your knowledge also, Gokul, you would remember most number of time is spent in construction of a toilet, right?
Yes.
Precast has, because once you do the structure, you have to do the waterproofing, then you have to go through the test, blah blah blah, and a lot of things, right?
Yes.
So that is something where you are wasting time, right? What if you can do the entire toilet somewhere in a quality controlled environment, and it comes to you as a product? So these kind of offerings precast has. Okay, so once you do the structure, just bring your toilet, keep it done, plug and play, you are ready to go. So this is something which is there for residential. Think about a hotel. Let's suppose Olympics is happening or any big event is happening. First thing is how so many tourists, how so many players will stay, where the management will accommodate. So they come up with hotels, and they plan this hotel at least 3 to 4 years so that the construction will complete. So if you remember, every hotel, be it any five-star hotel, all rooms are mostly the same size of bed, same size of bathroom. How it would sound if I'll say you can make the entire hotel like a Holiday Inn kind of standard in just 6 months? Precast can do that, because by the time your foundation, excavation, foundation, and your structure is getting ready, in somewhere in the factory, they will be building your rooms. Your rooms are done. As soon as your structure is ready, keep these boxes inside, do the finishing. Okay, then comes the structure, main thing. So somehow in India we have not that advanced, wherein the soil profile we know everything. Here a lot of issues are there. We are struggling with that. So foundations we do with normal conventional technology, but once the foundations are up, your columns, your beams, then your slab, everything comes from factory. So if you ask me what is the main contribution what precast is doing, is the time. Because imagine when you do any structure, and your column has to be taken at every slab cycle, I would say 15 days. In a best scenario it goes to 10 days, and in the worst cases it goes to a month also. But in case of precast, you can go much ahead, where you can complete the floor in one day. That, imagine, where is 10 days, where is one day? So that is the kind of speed precast can give, because all your elements, be it your columns, beams, then your slab panels, everything is done, tested, and done, constructed in a factory controlled environment. Your quality is awesome. You don't have to worry about the quality test, which we usually struggle at the sites. Because once the casting is done, then we will realize, okay, there is a honeycomb or some problem, then we will go back. Here, there is nothing like that. If a structure has gone wrong, it will not come out of the factory. Like how you buy a phone, it's the same thing. Once everything is done in the factory, it comes out the same thing, I would say. Like how cars are built, it's everything is quality controlled, time tested. And the machinery was not, a lot of companies now in India is using is all Italian and German make. So the quality is the best, and conventional you can't even compare with that. Even if you compare it with Maivan, I won't say Maivan is not good. It is good, but a lot of workmanship issues are there in Maivan. And as now you can say COVID has hit a lot of labors, manpower is another one challenge which we all are facing, right? Be it conventional or Maivan, getting the manpower is a challenge now. So this is the right time for a lot of the new developers to test precast, because your factory have a controlled environment. You can take care of your labors. All the workmen are getting the right temperature checks. Everything is happening right. Your product is coming out in a trailer, which is again the driver. Everything is being checked at the factory. The product comes to the site, install it. You don't need much labors. So if you talk about the labors, what is required in a conventional technology to precast, I would say it is, you can save easily 80%. That's a big number, I would say, because first of all, you don't have labors, and where you can save 80% of the labors, I would say that's a miracle what a construction industry can imagine. So with that, I would say it's kind of a lot of advantages in the current scenario, where your risks are less, health problems are less, even if any casualty or any COVID situation happens at the project site also, your factory is still running. And in case, God forbid, something happens at the factory, they always keep a backup. So your project site also will not lose the continuity. With these kind of things, speed of the project will never get issues.
Yes, sir. Yes. So you talked about the safety aspect. In precast, we assemble elements at site, and the number of joints in the structure are more in number. So, due to this number of joints, is there any harm to the structure, or do we have to worry about the cases of leakage or safety concern during natural disasters like earthquake? So, how do you ensure the safety there?
So first, I will talk about leakages, because when people think of precast, it's like first thing comes in mind is leakages. So yes, precast has a lot of leakages issues, because in our country, when precast came, it was new, and the materials which was available here was not that very great with precast structures and waterproofing what it wanted actually. But over the period, uh, solutions have improved. Companies have understood what kind of solution need to be done at the sites to check any leakages, and industry has evolved a lot. So now I believe, I don't think any developer is facing any major challenge unless and until the workmanship is wrong, like the methodology what has been involved in the waterproofing. If that has gone wrong, then I can't say. But otherwise, materials, procedures, everything is in place, and things shouldn't go wrong as far as water leakages are concerned. And seismicity is something, we have zone 1, zone 2, 3, 4, 5, and uh, precast structure in India has gone up to zone 2 and zone 3. 4 and 5 is very high seismic, and somewhere people are not that confident with using precast. But trust me, precast can be used in high seismic zones as well. The only thing is the joints, the design of joints and the foundation has to be in line with that seismic zone, which in case of precast becomes very expensive for seismic zone 4 and 5, and even for 3 in some cases. And that is the main reason why people don't opt for precast structures. Otherwise, a natural disaster, I would say precast will be much more better than any other structure, because the resistance to seismicity and disaster might be compromised in the precast structure through the joints only if the connections are not designed appropriately and executed, of course. So most of the conventional construction also have construction joints in many of the structures. So even here also these construction joints exist. All the historic monuments also are actually precast, which I said, right, and
Yes.
it is still exists. So many earthquake it must have uh, gone, and things are standing still. Things are still fine, right? So the durability of the precast structure is much more than any conventional construction, because each precast component is designed not only for the building loads but also for the demolding. When the it is demolded in the second day or the first day, should achieve the 70% strength. So it is designed in that way, and handling loads, which is much more than any conventional structure scenario. So any higher grade of concrete is used in. I missed out to mention the grade of concrete which is used in precast is much more higher. It starts with MM40 actually.
Yes. Hmm.
And if you remember, you must have studied the maximum which in a normal in a normal construction building for a residential project, we might go M25 or M30 max.
True,
But
true,
here
sir.
it
Yeah.
starts with MM40, and for many structure it goes for like columns, or where is the load is very high, it goes to M80 as well. So with that kind of strength, things will not go wrong. And it all depends on how you design your joints. If the joints are designed well, trust me, for any seismic zone, precast is the best solution.
Yes, sir. Yes. So you talked about the grade of concrete. Building materials plays an important role in the quality of precast structure, as you said. So you talked about this M40 concrete, but what are the other things like admixtures and all? What are the difference when we compare it with the conventional system?
There are a lot of things which is involved if you compare directly with conventional to precast. There are a lot of things which are different in precast. Like first of all your conduitings, all your design has to be freezed. Reason being, once the structure, this is all fully concrete. Unlike your concrete blocks where you can chip in and do all your rework, this is very difficult in case of precast. So all the conduiting happens at the stage of cast before casting actually. And admixtures, because you are demolding on the next day or on the second day, the structure has to achieve 70% of this strength. So a lot of admixture goes into that so that it will achieve that strength. Curing. So water efficiency is what we all are thinking these days, right?
Yes.
And how can we achieve it? That most of us don't have the answer, because for curing, what you need is actually water, or you need chemicals. But in
Hmm.
case of precast, once your casting is done, it goes to a steam chamber, and the entire uh, curing process happens with the high pressure steam, and which gives the strength within next day. Because first of all, your grade of concrete is higher than the steam curing. It Steam has the, like, in case of you see in the general scenario also, the steam has the strength to infiltrate inside, and that helps in strengthening the process, and that's how it fastens the process actually. So, and like lifting hooks are required, which is not required in case of conventional. Then your thermocols are required wherever we place the junction boxes, and lot of other things for lifting itself will comes in place, which you might as an end user you will not see, because people who are from your who are working at the site will see all those things. A lot of consumables are there which get used during this entire process of demolding or installation. And a lot of silicon forms, membranes, adhesives which goes in. Fly ash is being used rigorously in most of the precast industry. I've seen they use a lot of fly ash, which conventional also does. I won't blame, but not in as efficiently as precast does. Then during installation, also a lot of consumables like elastomeric pads, nuts and bolts, like for the mechanical connection. There are two kind of connections in precast also, mechanical and the wet joints. For mechanical, they use the nuts, and normally you will see whenever the joints are there, they keep a pad as well. So those are neoprene pads. Then there is baker rod, where are vertical joints. To have a better seal, they use baker rod. Then sealant, non-shrink grout, because you need to grout all joints. Silicon forms, color pigments is another one thing which I think both the industry use. It's not right to say only precast uses that. And a lot of other small things which I might be missing. It's not coming to my mind, but on a higher bird's eye view also. These are the few things which precast industry uses, which conventional may not be used.
So you talked about lifting and transportation. And these areas are unavoidable in precast construction. We use large equipment, mighty cranes, etc. for this. So lot of safety related issues can occur while this activity is being carried out. How these issues are tackled and what are the main challenges you face while doing this?
See, India as a market has evolved a lot. Those days are gone where safety was a concern at site, and we did not have a trained people. These days, every company have a good workforce in place. In terms of equipments, also we have evolved a lot. Major constraint was from the equipment sides, but now I think all thanks to the urbanization, that a lot of heavy equipments have come in place. Safety measures have increased a lot, and a lot of our workforce are worked in Middle East, where they have seen much more heavy. They have worked in much more heavy structures, and so far I don't think we are facing challenge in that front. But if you'll ask me how lifting and transportation of the structures are happening, so during the transportation, yes, there can be challenges because not all transporters are allowed in this. The way you have to drive the vehicle has to be cautious, because the structures can break or go for a crack if it is going through a bumpy roads. So those kind of, to avoid such kind of scenarios, they train the drivers, and most of the factories, they deploy the same agency again, so that these kind of things will not suffer because of the bad workmanship or the bad handling. Things should go wrong. That will not happen in precast these days. Initially, every company had faced this issue, but I think now people have trained for this.
So there is always a concern in the common person's mind that can we modify the structure according to our need when we using precast, or will we have to compromise on our design? So what's your take on that? Can we accommodate every building design into precast?
See, you can accommodate any design into precast, but think about from a baker's point of view. Let's suppose you can make any kind of cake, right? There is a cake for Barbie shape also. There is a cake for Superman, Doraemon. You get all kind of cake, but those are expensive. Why? Whatever the raw materials you're going to use is going to be the same. Your sugar content is going to be the same. But the reason why it is expensive, when you change the mold, if you go to any baker shop, the square shaped cakes are the cheapest, right? Because your repetitions are high. The same shape goes and again and again. But if you're coming up with a new design, which is not repeatedly they are using, in that case, your cost goes up. Same thing here as well. So there are possibilities of changing design, but what's the fun of doing precast when there is no repeatability? Precast is a solution where you should look for how many repetitions you can do. Like cars, when cars are built, Toyota makes, I don't know, is it 7 minutes, 8 minutes, something is there. I don't remember the exact thing. They make cars in that particular time. Why? Because the repetition is higher. Same thing is required in precast as well. Precast demands modularity and repetition. So your design has to be freezed at the initial stage, and how many repetitions it can go is what they calculate. If the repetitions are less, they will have lower efficiency. If efficiency is low, your expenses will go up. And when expenses will go up, again, the affordability and the price will go up. And no builder would like to have it. If you talk about Singapore and other Asian countries, where they have evolved and the mindset of the developers and the end users as well have evolved, they have freeze the design. So factories produce the same thing on a nutshell, maybe 80 to 85% it is freeze. As per the end user's requirement, they make a very slight modifications. Unlike India, wherein the design are freezed first, then they think should we go with conventional or precast. In that case, precast industry is trying to accommodate every design change here, and that is why their repeatability is less. Factories are not efficient, they are not making profits, and they are offloading all this cost to the builder, and builder cannot afford to have a high cost of construction. and that is why the acceptance level of precast is going low in India. So unless the mindset of the people change here, it will be a tough time for precast in India.
True, sir, true. So we talked about the precast products like walls, compound walls, drains, bridge piers, etc. But usually pre-tensioning and post-tensioning methods are used in heavy load-carrying structures. So what are the demand in Indian industry, sir? So are we using these elements in bridge construction here in India extensively?
So some of the major demand as far as pre and post tension are coming is like metro is coming up in a big time in all cities. Tier one cities are all are gearing up for metro. Expansions are happening. Flyovers we are seeing in tier one, tier two, and in next 10 years we will see in every city in that case. So segment viaducts, station girders, on your precast meridians are there, tunnel sections are happening, bridges, flyover girders, highway curbstones. There are a lot of things which needs pretension, and these are the main demand of pretension and post-tension structures in India. So metro rail is one of the key area where a lot of demand is emerging now. Flyovers is the second, I would say, because a lot of companies, when it's a small section, they don't think of going to a factory. They just set up their makeshift factory and they go with that. But I would say if the design is freeze much ahead, they can look up for setting up a mega plant wherein your cost will significantly come down. A lot of metro stations and all are in talks with such thing. There is another one discussion which a lot of new companies and PhD holders are working on is making precast roads. So if that happens, then I would say the roads will be the best thing which will happen to a precast.
True, sir, true, yeah.
Because imagine one night you get up uh, next morning and within night they complete the entire road, and next morning you are looking at something which is clean and paved road for you, and that's magical. Because these days whenever a road construction is happening, you will see at least 7 8 days there will be traffic congestion, lot of issues, dust, everything. So things are working on this front. You must have seen this normally for the metro section or for the flyovers, which is happening. Pre-tension, post-tension happen, but in Holocaust slabs also they do pre-tensioning. So this is something which, unless you see, it is very difficult for me to explain. But unless you see things, you will not be able to get it. I mean, you will not be able to imagine properly.
Yes, sir, true. The government is also coming with the more and more number of road kilometers construction. So now I think it's 20 to 30 kilometers per day according to the data. So if precast is coming up in road construction, it will definitely be a revolution. So now digitization is everywhere. So it has become a part of every industry. So how much information technology helped the precast industry for its effective performance?
See, precast industry as of now, in terms of technology, I wouldn't say there is a major difference, because even if they do, everything comes at a cost. And every player in the precast industry is trying to save cost. The more you bring in technology, there is a capital investment too. And that is where they are finding the challenge. So unless and until we see the acceptance rate getting higher, the technology will be taking a back foot. Maybe 3 years down the line, when the acceptance rates maybe at a higher, maybe at his peak, we would see that a lot of new things. But even now, like material tracking, once the material is transported from the factory to the project, things like QR code or scanner is there. You must have seen this Chinese construction wherein they scan and they will know this element has to go at which location, and
Yes, yes.
automatically it will happen, all those things. So these kind of things are there, but in India, not yet, because
Mm.
these things comes at a cost, and we are Indians, so we don't want to spend money on technology first. We try to cut down the all the expenses, and we see how affordable we can make it. So somehow technology we have to avoid as of now, but maybe 3 to 5 years, that's the time we will see a change in that.
I think the availability of cheap labors is one of the main factors why our India as and construction industry is reluctant of using precast because we get really cheap labors. But if in case we take precast, we have to spend a lot upfront, high charges for that.
So capital investment definitely is massive in case of precast because you need to set up a good infrastructure. You, you take any big name in the Indian market, they have spent a lot of money in the capital investment of the factory. So that much of capital investment, then your equipment, which are either Italian or German equipments, and all the manpower what you have is trained, not like anybody you can bring in and you can deploy directly to the project site. No, side. In case of erection also, the tower crane what they use are of much more higher grade because the every element is heavy, right? To handle that kind of elements, you need a high capacity tower crane. So that is another one expense, and transportation is another one expense. So things like that is taking a toll as of now, and that is why people are reluctant to use precast. I mean, the solution providers are not coming up. There are very few solution providers who are doing great jobs. A lot of people are trying, and a lot of people have backed out. But I would say, see, once the acceptance rate goes up, things will become cheaper. Now with the
True.
COVID, I think uh, COVID is a ray of hope for precast. I would say this will change the scenario because workmen is a big challenge right now for the construction industry, and precast don't need much. Precast is not a labor intensive technology. Here you can save at least 80% of the workforce, and this is where uh, in the current scenario precast can do magic. So if the solution provide cut down their cost and think of reaching to every customer, this will be a turning point for precast industry, I would say,
True, sir. True.
because there is a lot of uncertainty which the workforce have about the COVID, their health risk, and developers have stalled their projects. A lot of people don't know when the project will get over. Requirement of residents are going up. We all are looking for safe places, right? So the requirement of residences will never go down, it will go up. Office is definitely coming down, but we all are looking at getting into a better homes. Someone who was staying in a 1 bhk is looking for a 2 bhk because he need to set up one room as office, right? People will tend to go for a better homes and increase the demand, and that's when if precast can have a better solution. I missed out to mention one point: the way precast residences are built now. Imagine you entire your room, like suppose in a simple way, if I have to explain, a 2 bhk house, okay? You have kitchen, you have two bedroom, you have a hall, you have two bathrooms, okay? Imagine you get all this in a box. Like one box is your bedroom, or one box is your master bedroom, another two boxes is your bathroom, then one box is your kitchen, and maybe one more box is your living room, okay? All that you do is bring all these boxes together, keep it next to each other, and that's it. Your house is ready. So that is the technology what the future demands, and precast has the answer. All that it needs is the trust of somebody who is paying the money for this, which is lacking in India. And this is 3D technology. I wouldn't say this is the exact 3D technology what we talked about, but this in precast it is called as a 3D blocks. So this will be a mega change. This will bring a big change, and maybe a G+8 kind of apartment you can think in 6 to 8 months time, which I think is a big deal for be it a player or be it a end user. To getting a house, imagine you pay money, you go book a flat, and what if the builder is saying, "Okay, we'll give you a flat in 8 months." That's a good thing for anyone to hear. Any buyer would love to shift to their own house in just 8 months, and there is no case of delay because everything is coming from your factory. Everything is quality checked, stringent quality and safety standards. This is the best thing the market can have. But the only problem is the cost, where people have to little bit understand. what the technology has to offer and what they can get out of this.
Yes, sir. So the specialty of precast construction is faster construction and quality. So how can we use this, or how can we use this to contribute towards the Houses for All initiative under PMAY scheme? Because the government is also coming out with notification that in this PMAY scheme there should be more use of this precast elements. What's your take on that?
This is something I remember 1 year back actually. It was an initiative again by a HFA, Housing for All, by 2022. They wanted to do it, and somehow the program is getting delayed, and the PMO wanted to understand how the new technologies can bring a change. That's how they started a challenge here, wherein they invited a lot of new technology providers, and precast was also one of them. And I happened to meet the ministry people, the prime minister as well during that time. So they all want to try out new things, but somehow codes and transportation also, these challenges, codes, unless the codes are revised, all the is codes what we follow is not updated time and again, and some of the new technologies are uh, getting ignored again and again. So that is where we need to work on now. From last year onwards, when this initiative came up, a lot of think tanks are working on this. So we would see some new structures under this HFA scheme where it will be done with precast. Hopefully in Chennai it is happening, and I'm not sure where else it is happening, but government is looking forward to involve precast in a lot of projects. Even Shirke is doing a lot of projects under this scheme with precast for government.
So how different precast has evolved in Indian market? Was it the same as earlier, or are we witnessing something new?
So I have worked in precast projects for two companies. So when I was working with my first company, it was only difference was we were getting the panels, or the entire wall element or the columns, uh, anything from the factory which is in the yard itself, in the project site. So a part of the project site we used to make it as a factory where all these things are built, and we are shifting it to the tower. This was like fascinating for me, and lot evolvement has happened, but I would say still the industry can see a big difference in terms of how technology is coming in. IoT is yet to come in this sector. People are not using it, and how we can leverage all this, the new technology. Maybe a lot of IT has to come in. uh, as of now, we all are thinking from the construction side, but when IT people and IoT everything comes in, you will see a lot of change. And I would say next 10 years, you will ask people how conventional buildings were done in the past. I think that day will come in next 10 years.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out some time from your busy schedule for us and for our audience. I think it was a fruitful discussion. Sir shared his experience. We talked about world precast industry, Indian context, and the challenges faced by the industry, and some of the common questions which always revolves around in a civil engineer's mind. So, would you like to give any concluding remarks?
I would say precast, and there are a lot of new technologies exist in the market. When we come out of our college, we just study the theoretical side of it, but practically things are much different. And I would urge every budding engineer like you to get hands-on experience of all these things. Because when I came out of college, I was lucky to get into this, and it changed my entire career. The way I thought, I never thought that I'll get into precast. I will love precast, even if today in my current company I'm not working directly in precast, but I'm someone who who always spoke about this technology in the past, and I would say in the future as well I'll be talking, because this technology has a lot of potential, and there are a lot of other technologies in the market which has a lot of potential, but somehow that needs attention, and you as a budding engineer should look at it, should experience it, should explain, and you should be the evangelist who will talk about all those things. So only message is get onto this ground, get your hands dirty. That's how you'll learn, and that's how our industry can evolve. Yeah.
True, sir. True. Thank you so much, sir. So we call it a day today. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to us, and have a great day. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Conversations with Reinforced Engineers podcast. Hope you found value in the discussion and do tune in for next episodes. And in case if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for updates on future episodes. Thank you once again and have a great day.